right, y'all. Let's do a quick review of what Joe found today. I found a few goodies. Went down to several Loves. Y'all know about the Loves madness. Pro Stinker, you know, he went and bought up a whole pile of them and he's selling them off. And then I saw a couple folks that mentioned they got some, so we got several within fairly reasonable driving distance here. So I went to two in Georgia, one in Thompson and one in Madison, which is over closer to Atlanta, about 60 miles away is the Madison one. But neither one of them had them, right? So on the way back, I called my buddy Don, and he called out to South Carolina ones, and one just up the road, actually closer, maybe another 60 miles the other direction, in Lexington, South Carolina. That store had some, and they had three on display, and they had the cars, and so I asked the woman about them. I said, are these all you got? You got these three? Because I wanted to buy two. And my buddy Don, he was on the fence, but he decided to buy one anyway. But she said, no, I just put these out. They came Friday, but I'm the one that puts them out. Nobody put them out till I got here today. And they had pretty much a full race. There might have been a couple of the cars missing. But so they had three on display. And I said, oh, okay. So I grabbed two. And I said, would you mind if I looked at the other ones that you got in the back? She said, no, not at all. And she opened. I said, because sometimes they got an iWheels version, which will have like white rims. And I wanted to see if they had an I would have traded one of them out for the iWheels. But they didn't. They were all the standard issue, just like you see right there with them two beautiful tankers. I hadn't opened this one yet, but I am going to open this one up and take them trucks out, and they'll be, but they're amp chassis, which one of the first things I'll do is swap them out, because those amp chassis are just too wild for a truck. I did that on the Gold Rush set. I'll do the same thing here. I got plenty of extra extraction chassis. I just have to solder the bulbs on. And so like I said, I bought two of the sets because they had 9. So y'all don't get upset. We didn't do like some people that don't have proper manners and buy them all out. And nobody got upset. Nobody showed us the thunder chicken or nothing on the way out. Nobody got pissed off. Matter of fact, some of the gals at the register, they were like, oh, them cars are too expensive. They're $29. I was like, they're not die-cast. They're not Hot Wheels. They're electric race cars. And even though you think they're too much, they will sell out. So I managed to get one of each of the 5, right? Just because. The main one I wanted was that Samba bus, which is a beautiful thing. My buddy Don bought one, but somebody else liked it and said, oh, it's just too expensive. But he gave it away. That's my buddy Don. Remember, I was telling you, he's amazing people, and he's a very generous man, and that was cool. I couldn't give mine away because I need that Volkswagen bus. I told you all the story of my dad had one that used to about asphyxiate us every time we rode in it due to the exhaust leak and get a headache. But it wasn't near as unpleasant as all the cigarette smoke in there. But I won't go on about that. His was cool. It was blue on the bottom and white on the top. I did like it. He parked it on the porch one time, and our porch had stairs. I was impressed that he made it over the railing without hurting himself. But anyway, so I got one of each of the 5. We did not see any of the iWheels version. I really like the F100 and the Samba bus. I would have liked to have been able to find the Grand National in the iWheels version, because I ain't crazy about a black race car, as I've mentioned many, many times. but I just had to have it. It's Grand National. They don't do a whole bunch of them. And this Cougar, they did a Cougar on the last go round. It's a little different. I believe the one I got is white with a yellow or orange stripe maybe. So we got the Cougar, the Samba bus, which is really cool. And one of my daughters is a Volkswagen nut. She's still got a Volkswagen Golf diesel. And she don't drive it every day, but it's a 2012, but she does love them. And her husband, when they were dating, he had a yellow old VW Beetle. I've never owned them. I drove several back in the 80s. And I always thought they were impressive, but just too tiny. Like I said, I love the Love's F100, and then we got the Datsun also, which I guess is all right. It's nothing special, but. And then on the way back, we stopped at a couple of, went ahead and went to they call it West Columbia, but it's near Lexington. What do you call it? Hobby Lobby. And they had, which I already bought one of these cars, but I didn't know which version. So I'll keep the one that I don't have, and then the other one I'll take back to my local Hobby Lobby. And then I also found a red Ram Charger. They had a dark one too, but that one looked pretty cool. So that was a pretty good haul. Those were $119 and some change. These are $29 and maybe $29.95, something like that. So they ain't cheap. But people are already scalping them on eBay for, I think the average is about $250 plus. So, and y'all know there's a fellow we know that's selling them for like $199. I guess if you can't get out to a Love's, and do call them, but I think it's a case of the shipping. They arrived on Friday, and nobody over the weekend decided to put them out. So you might not see them today. We just got fortunate when he called, and she said, yeah, we just got those. And so we drove straight up there and picked up a couple. And the last store that I bought from is the Thompson store, which is 28 miles down the road from me. And they didn't have any out, which kind of shocked me because they're pretty big Loves and they're right off of I-20, and they stay busy all the time. And I imagine probably tomorrow or the next day, they'll probably discover them and put them out. And I'll go scanning for the iWheels version of these individual cars, at least the Grand National. And if they have a set, I don't know, any of y'all seen the iWheels of that yet? Because I know Pro Tinker didn't find any, and he bought a bunch of sets. But y'all don't go crazy. I mean, we were motivated. I wanted to find them. I love Love's. Me and my buddy Don, we're both from Oklahoma, and Love's was the first convenience store I ever saw in my little bitty hometown, and it still exists, and it's probably still the only one. We only had one stoplight. But so Love's is near and dear to my heart. So even though these trucks are very cool with the red, white, and blue, you know, even though that's not real trendy to be patriotic nowadays, but some of us still are. So that's it. I wish y'all luck finding them. I think there's probably going to be a lot more of the sets because they only had one box of these cars, and when those other sets were out, I seen those cars in that same Love's a lot longer than when all the sets were gone. So the sets were gone quick, and they still had a bunch of cars, and they had almost all of them had iWheels in a box. Doesn't seem to be the case this time. So good luck hunting your stuff down. Y'all take care.